one thing I talk about here is embracing change. I think we are in a world where things are changing rapidly, things are changing dynamically. Every few months, there is a new business model, new technology, and this crisis is going to change us forever. And therefore, change is a way of life in today's world. And my own motto has been to embrace the change, not to fight the change, because change is going to come whether you like it or not. And those who embrace change, those who try to overcome the adversity and embrace it, can do much better. Obviously the lockdown has enormous economic consequences, especially for people who live on daily wages and so on. Migrants, is a very difficult time. So also the lockdown may not be that effective in very dense urban populations, because if you lock down people in a dense urban population and they're infected, then they'll just infect each other even if they're not moving around. So I think it may be some kind of not a full lockdown, but obviously we won't have big events, we won't have gatherings and so on, but some kind of minimal business can function. At the same time, we have to improve our ability to test and isolate those who have got the disease. So that goes hand in hand. I think I'm quite confident about the long term. Obviously, in the short term, in the next during this crisis, it will be challenging. But I have no doubt that the demand for IT will go up. As I explained in my talk, it's because of the digital infrastructure that we're even able to function so many things, whether it's food delivery, e-commerce, teleconferencing. Everything is only possible because of the technology. So companies around the world are beginning to understand the value of that. And Indian companies are very well placed to take advantage of that, especially those who are very strong and stable, and those that have deep pockets, whole thing. So I think I'm confident that in the long term, Indian companies, especially the strong ones, will come out ahead of the game and will continue to play a big role globally. Well, I think there's two things. One is the method of learning going online. That is changing forever, because everyone in the world, every school, every university now has to provide online learning, because physically the kids and students can't come to campus anyway. The credibility and credential value of online learning will go up dramatically, because if you have a complete infrastructure for learning, for testing, for assessment, for credentials, for certificates, and companies will respect that. And I think so you actually, what would have earlier taken 10 years will happen in 2 years. So I think it's worthwhile having a self-discipline of a schedule for yourself, because in this situation, when you're working from home or studying from home, often the day is a very loose day, and it can go in very different ways. So I think it's worthwhile having a discipline inside that discipline, whether it is the time you allocate for studying, the time you allocate for family, the time you allocate for doing some exercise, whatever it is, having a routine in this world will help. So I think being curious and being knowledgeable is something I would recommend.